Miss Balderota,
Here.
Miss Balahi, Mr. Kleiss, Miss Marlin,
Here.
Mr. Miles,
Here.
Mr. Shetty, Miss Welter is excused.
Okay. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, and so approval of the minutes. Is there any changes, or do we have any move to approve?
I move approval. Yeah, at our July meeting, we didn't have a quorum, so we couldn't approve the minutes from the July meeting.
Oh,
Pardon? From July? We didn't reattach the July minutes to the, or the, what would that have been, what was our meeting before July? February?
April.
April, sorry.
So we're looking at July minutes here.
Yeah.
yeah.
A-
Oh, you're saying April too.
Yeah. Most of us were here, but we had already passed that point in the meeting. There wasn't a quorum to approve the minutes from the
Okay.
meeting prior to that. So we're backlogged a few meetings.
Okay.
And since we only meet 4 times a year, it's a real exercise on the remembering what we did last.
Okay, so should we do April first?
Approval of the April
Okay.
meeting minutes, and then approval of our most recent meeting minutes.
Okay. So anyone motion to approve or have any changes for the April 2016 minutes? No?
Well, I'll move approval of the April minutes.
Okay, I'll second that. All right, so regarding the July minutes. Any changes? Okay. All right, so I'll motion to approve.
Second it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and we doesn't look like we have anybody here for public input, so we will move on.
We should vote
Vote.
to approve the minutes.
Oh, we do vote? Okay. Sorry, it's a little bit different than my other board meeting. Okay, so a motion to, or a vote to approve the minutes. Okay, those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. All right, so now we can move on. So let's move to staff report.
All right. It's been a busy couple of months as we've gone through some of our busiest months of the season. We last met in April, so a lot of things have happened. I send out regular communication for the market patrons and market vendors, but a few things to report. The other day, I gave a presentation alongside Beth Bolger from Farm Credit Illinois to the USDA Midwest region on the success of our SNAP program during this season so far. Over $20,000 distributed in SNAP at the farmers market this season alone, and we still have 3 Saturdays left. That surpasses any amount that we've ever distributed in the history of our program, SNAP program at the farmers market. I included my presentation in your packet for you to take a look at. I really think that incentivizing purchases is a testament to expanding this program, and I'm thankful to Farm Credit and for Link Up Illinois and their help in working with us and partnering on the SNAP program. So, any questions about that? All right. The Illinois Farmers Market Association is hosting a workshop here in Urbana on November 8th. Not that there's anything else going on November 8th. It's for farmers market vendors and managers. It's at the Lake House at Crystal Lake Park in Urbana. It's from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's $40 for Farmers Market Association members, $60 for non-members, and there are some student scholarships. The registration is up at the Illinois Farmers Market Association website. I'll also be distributing information about it to the vendors at the farmers market. There's a couple of presentations and then some networking and roundtables and lunch provided by Piatto. If you haven't
Natalie?
seen, yes.
So is this for people who are thinking about being a vendor or current vendors, or what sorts of topics will be
All sorts of
covered?
topics. This one specifically, the format of the program, the Farmers Market Association will discuss the Connect Fresh initiative. It's a statewide initiative alongside Market Maker to register farmers markets and vendors so that we have a better idea of how many markets there actually are in Illinois. Currently, there isn't one list that has that. I mean, you could register your market with USDA or with the Illinois Department of Ag, but if your market manager is a farmer that leaves or a volunteer that doesn't come back, or they might not remember to update it, and then your market won't be noted on all of their data. So this is an initiative to get a better idea of where all the farmers markets are at. So they'll talk about that. There was a farmer from, it's called Finding Eminence Farm. They have flowers and produce. They're going to come talk about telling their farm story, about marketing and things like that. And then James, the owner of Pandemonium Donuts, will talk about graduating from cottage food operator to food truck. So navigating the public health system to build his business through the farmer's market. Cottage food success story, that's what it is. And then after that, we'll have tables set up, a different topic at each table, and so you go sit at the table where you want to discuss that topic, and we'll have lunch from there, and the topics we'll decide that day at the meeting, depending on who's going to be there. I had the opportunity to visit a couple of farmers markets in Illinois over the past couple of weeks. I visited the Green City Market in Chicago. I went to the downtown Bloomington Market and the Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital Farmers Market in Lincoln. I was able to meet with staff. I spoke with quite a few vendors. I learned about their application process, their rules and regulations, how they balance their product mix, all sorts of things that we've been talking about at these meetings. It was very nice to have the opportunity to go to other farmers markets in our area. It's not often, well, they always happen on Saturday. We have something else happening Saturday. So it was great to meet with them, and I'll have some more comments to share as we go through our strategic plan. There's some promotional events coming up or that have just happened. As you know, we participated in the Central Illinois Eat Local Challenge. It took place during the whole month of September. A lot of our neighboring farmers markets participated. We're still receiving surveys and feedback from those that participated, and all of the market managers that from these markets will get together and talk about whether it was successful or not, how we can change it or improve it. Next year, we definitely did this on a shoestring budget of about zero. So each market was held responsible for doing promotions on their own, and I really think Champaign and Urbana kind of set the bar on promotions, and we really leveraged what we have to make it effective in our area. I unofficially think that we had the most signups in Champaign-Urbana compared to across the region. So good job, Champaign-Urbana. Market staff attended the Hobbyco Health Fair on September 21st and then gave their staff all sorts of information about local food and the farmers markets. And we are planning an activity for October 29th called Market at the Scare. We've hosted this program in the past. It includes a family-friendly costume contest, trick-or-treating, and this year, we will have a chili cook-off between Urbana Fire, Police, and Public Works departments. Each department's been paired with a protein vendor at the farmers market. I put in the orders last week to pick up the meat, and then that morning they're going to shop for their produce with the produce farmers, and then the staff is building out a Champaign-Urbana Public Health District certified temporary commercial kitchen so that they can cook their chili on site and sample it out that day as an opportunity to taste all the flavors of the season. Programming has been going very well at the farmers market. Read at the market, bike to market, art at the market, sprouts at the market. They've been very successful, and as you know, we added chef demonstrations this year and more sampling than we've ever had at the farmers market to date. Farm Fresh and Fast has continued this season with 27 new recipes, one launched each week, and we have a lot of folks coming up to the booth asking for the recipe cards, and been distributing those wherever we go, whether it's a health fair or tabling for the city or any chance we get, we pass it out. Last week I participated in a survey conducted through the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition in Nebraska. The center is working with a consultant in Michigan's Detroit Eastern Market to review SNAP trends, and they were suggested to speak with us because of the SNAP program and the success that we've seen this season. So that was great to hear from them, and they're going to put a report together to present to the Eastern Market, and I'm hopeful to get a copy of that once it's complete, if it's made public. Planning for 2017 is already underway. We've been compiling feedback and ideas to consider while making arrangements for next season, and of course taking into consideration all of your feedback, and I'm hopeful that we can coordinate a postseason wrap-up meeting, which came out of suggestions from this advisory board, which will be helpful for staff in planning for next season. So I'll send out a poll or try to get us anyone interested in participating in that scheduled to attend. It will be a public meeting, so anybody can attend, but I know this is something that a few folks on the advisory board wanted to talk about product mix and application and things like that. So I believe that concludes my staff report.
Okay, so you want to move on to the strategic planning? Okay.
Sure. I'm actually going to go up to the other
Okay.
microphone. Would you like me to review why we're here with the strategic plan, or have we reviewed that? I feel like there's no one new at the meeting today. I think we know what we're here for. I'll just step back a few days. At the April 28th meeting, we drafted a series of initiatives or action steps as the means to work towards achieving the 7 priorities that we set in July, and that's what was included in your packet today. Hi, Dave. At today's meeting, we're going to continue discussion on these initiatives and work towards concluding the strategic plan update, hopefully in early 2017, as our next meeting is in January 2017. At the last meeting, I kind of wanted to show you what the final document would look like. So I put this in the packet from last meeting, and I have it up here. And I thought that I would fill in your draft initiatives that go with the priorities. The priorities are here. We haven't gotten very far with the initiatives. I think we have 3. So we already know our mission. We have our advisory board members. We have our staff listed there. Key priority 1, we have no initiatives yet. Key priority 2, we're still working on it. Same with 3. We're getting there, though. 4, we have a couple from our previous meeting. I'm going to go through all 7 real quick. 5, we still have some work to do. Same with 6. We'll get there. And 7, there are a few initiatives listed there. Do you want to start with 1? 7, work backwards? Does anyone have any that are like, that they've thought of or that they've heard from your fellow vendors that you wanted to fill in? And as a reminder, these are initiatives are the steps that staff and the advisory board will take in achieving the priorities. Some of these priorities are not like a goal where you can check it off the list and we did it. These are goals that are going to stay with the market and lead us into the future. Maybe we'll start with number 1. 1? All right. So, key priority 1, ensure that the provision of a variety of fresh, healthy, local, high-quality food remains the cornerstone of the market. So, some initiatives to work towards achieving or meeting that priority. And I know that's something that we talked about at a previous meeting. We've surveyed our customers, we surveyed our vendors, and the market historically is defined local as within the state of Illinois through our rules and regulations, and when working with public health, keeping it within Illinois as local. I mean, obviously, there's the markets that I visited have different definitions of local. When I was at Green City, local did not mean within the state of Illinois. It meant Michigan and Wisconsin and Indiana. So.
Well, how does, you said you visited other markets, how do they work the ratio of food versus, because, you know, right here it says high quality local food remains a cornerstone versus crafts and all that other stuff. So how do they work that mix, or how do they do that?
Each one is different. Green City does not have crafts, arts or crafts, food only. The Bloomington market had a mix of arts and crafts and food. And then the farmers market in Lincoln, it was food only.
So the one that had arts and crafts, did they have a certain ratio they had set, or they just kind of like we do?
Right.
Okay.
Correct. They did, all 3 markets also had prepared food, which we do as well. Some markets, Bloomington market was on the street. Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital was in the state fairgrounds in Lincoln, across the street from the hospital. And Green City Market is on the south edge of Lincoln Park. So Green City Market, for example, had a station where you could get crepes. They would make tacos. They had pizza. And we have tacos, we have pizza, we don't have crepes. But we have them in a truck, whereas they have them underneath a tent. Our health district won't allow us to have it under a tent. It has to be in a truck. So there are differences between markets, but they also have prepared food. We have prepared food. It's just displayed differently. Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital, I'm just going to call it Lincoln. That's a long one. They had a station where they had ready-to-make food. A restaurant sets up a mini kitchen, and they make food to order, paninis, breakfast sandwiches, things like that. The Bloomington Farmers Market, the day that I was there, they did not have any food trucks there. But they do have some prepared food. Yep.
Did any of those places have a requirement or a ratio of the prepared food had to use from local farms, like so much of their?
Yes, Green City did. I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was one of the most strict that I've heard of. For example, you couldn't have a lemon poppy seed muffin because you can't get lemons here, but you could have like a pumpkin spice muffin or something like that because you can have pumpkins here. I asked how they police that, how the market staff does, and they said they don't. That it's self-policing between the vendors.
That should be fun.
So they said that would be a full-time job in and of itself. And I have yet to find a market that can police that kind of thing very accurately. I mean, a lot of the things are baked and prepared and finished product before they get there. So it's not like you can step into the truck and say, well, that's not from here, or, yeah.
Am I allowed to comment?
Sure. Come here. Sit and have a seat.
Formal seat.
Speak into, maybe say your name, who you are, where you're from.
Hi, I think most of you here know me, David Sam with Dragonfire Pizza, and I just wanted to address the comment about having food trucks and food vendors use market-prepared food. The Champaign market actually put that requirement into place this year, and I believe they said 20%. And with my business, I'm actually very likely to be able to do that because I can run around the market and get some produce to immediately prep and put on pizzas. The challenge is there's two challenges. One is we continue to make food, whether that food is in season right at that moment in time or not. So, I use mushrooms for pizzas year round, and obviously we can't get year-round mushrooms here in Champaign. The other challenge with it is I'm actually set up with a veggie prep sink on my trailer, so I'm allowed to prepare food from the market right then and there, according to the health department. If a food vendor is not set up with a veggie prep sink, then they're actually not allowed to do that. So I would advise you to be careful with a rule like that, because it may be very good for me, but it may actually eliminate several of the other food trucks and make them not able to participate, just because there'd be a conflict between market rules and health department rules. Hopefully that helps add some clarification.
Well, if we can't police it though, there's no need to even do it. Because if you do, you go ahead and say that you're gonna be like 20%, then the customers are gonna think that, and there's nothing there to say you are or not. So I just do not even just, cause I just don't see, we talked about this, there's no way.
So
You
the
have to have a full-time person, and it costs too much money, and
the Green City Market required that everything is posted on there, what products they sourced and from which farms, and it had to be people from Green City Market that participated there. And so when the sign goes up and it's listed on there, if you walk around and Dave says he gets pepperoni from Stan, and then Stan's like, you didn't get pepperoni from me, that just got policed. So that's how it was explained to me, and that's kind of how I saw it when I walked around. They had great signage, by the way. And so I really liked the signage that they had. I don't know with Champaign or not, do they require that the Champaign vendors, is that where they have to get it from, or can you just have to get it from within their 150-mile radius?
I don't really have clarification on that answer. I'm not sure. And I will also tell you that they started out with that rule, and because of some of the challenges of policing and the size of that market, not everything is always available. So I think even though that's a rule, they've basically let it slide.
So for example, on your truck, 20% of your products, could that mean a meat, a cheese, an ingredient of produce like a tomato or an onion or a garlic? Like, would that constitute 20% right there? If you were to put a sign up and it said that on there, or a bakery or any of our prepared food vendors, whether it be, I'm just going to throw some names out, like Picara, like the Muffin Man, like the Upper Crust, all these prepared foods, if we require that they source 20% of it, of their ingredients in order to participate.
still can't prove it. Is that dollars, is that volume?
Right.
If you put a sign up there, maybe it's one micro ingredient on a bigger picture, so.
I mean, in Green City, I think they self-police it because they require it come from people that come to that market, but they have a broader reaching out into other states. So I don't know how much if we want to continue that discussion for this, as an initiative for this priority, or if that's a discussion that we could consider in closing out the season and anticipating rules and regulation changes for 2017. I think it's a discussion worth having, and I totally think it's great, but if we stick on this.
Ensure that we have high quality food remains the cornerstone of the market. I guess that's the question. I don't know, I'm just asking. I haven't thought about it too much, but I'm sure that's something.
I think an initiative, do we want to continue with inspections of farms? Do we want to co-op with other markets so that we have more buying power to hire an inspector from Extension, for example, to go out and inspect the farms for new growers? Or has it been long enough to where we want to do an inspection again of everybody as a way to ensure high-quality local foods? That could be an initiative. I'm throwing that out there as an example. I think it should be someone that's not me, although I'd love to go on the visits because it's great to see you guys in your natural element, doing your thing that you're really good at. But I think it needs to be someone that's not as closely tied to you guys. That isn't a political science major, that's an ag major.
I don't see that statement that way. I see it saying food remains the cornerstone of the market. High quality, yeah, okay.
Ensure the provision of a variety of fresh, healthy, local, high-quality foods. Well, you'll ensure the provision is if you know where it comes from and if it's what they say it is, as an example. Just throwing it up.
Before we get too far away from it, I agree with Stan. It would be very difficult to calculate 20% of food vendors buying food. And I can think of several different ways to calculate that, which would mean that it would become messy. So I would, however, I do try to shop the market to the best of my ability, and I've bought stuff from several vendors at the market. As an initiative, I think we could put down some type of an encouraging statement. I wouldn't put down a minimum right up front, but I would encourage the food trucks and other food vendors, prepared food vendors that come to the market, put some, hey, we prefer that you use goods from the market, from other vendors at the market, or something like that. And I think that we could tie an incentive in there to the signage that you were suggesting. I know my customers love knowing that something that I just got was from the vendor over there. We got some lime basil last week. It was fantastic. And it was a great conversation piece to have with my customers. So if we can incentivize that behavior, I would rather incentivize than mandate. So I'd say if we can encourage it and then incentivize it with good signage, just thinking out loud.
I like signs.
Which initiative would that go under then? I'm trying to figure, would that be number one? Or
Yeah.
priority?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
I think number one for sure.
You could probably argue that goes under several of them, Stan.
Yeah.
I think you just pick the one that seems most relevant.
Well, that
But
one actually talks about food. Oh, no, okay.
But I think an argument could be made that it go under number one, because then you're not talking, you're including the prepared food in addition to the raw foods or.
I'm for it, just say encourage, what did you say, encourage?
Encourage the prepared food vendors, food trucks and some of the other prepared food vendors to
Shop the market.
shop the market and incentivize that with some signage. Signage is very expensive, as you all know. So maybe if the market funds some vendor signs, I could pick up a sign and say, here,
We've done sign banner programs before when the laws changed and required more product transparency, and our rules changed to where we required vendors to have signage that says who they are and where they're from. We offered a program where either I would do it or someone graphically inclined would create a banner. We'd send it to a local graphics place. They would print it for us. We got a bulk rate on it. know, a couple of people on the board took advantage of that, and you could use it here, you could use it at other places that you go to. I don't care where you hang it, as long as you hang it there on Saturday mornings. And it's good for staff. I know Suki and I both appreciate when there's signs that say who you are for attendance, and for our customers, they can remember, oh, I have been here before, I remember.
But that signage has to be something that you can change, because that's.
Sure.
On a weekly basis.
Yes, but that,
Chalkboard or something that's more appropriate for something like that.
of course, yep.
So I'm not so much interested in policing vendors as I am in encouraging existing vendors and encouraging new growers and producers to, you know, supply food to the market, looking at the next generation of growers and producers. So whatever we can do to provide training, or like these workshops that you're hosting, or education or support. I know we subsidize, I just learned this week, we subsidize vendors by covering the insurance costs at the outdoor market, which I didn't realize. And that's a huge factor that people may not appreciate.
Yeah.
So, you know, looking at ways that we can support and encourage people who are bringing food to sell at the market, whether it's prepared food or the fresh fruits and vegetables.
Would that go under 4, enhance the market's role in the local food system, vendor profitability, and the local economy? That could be
Huh?
provide training, access to training and resources for vendors to participate in.
Yeah, well, it would work for either one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's the key. If we're going to keep food vendors as the cornerstone of the market, we need to be
Right.
encouraging and supporting food vendors.
And I think that goes hand in hand with an initiative that we already have on 4. Pardon me while I scroll to 4. Increase collaboration and coordination with regional farmers markets. I mean, our neighbors next door in Champaign are run by the Land Connection, that has a lot of training opportunities right here in our own backyard. And so that's one example. The Illinois Farmers Market Association, that's another example if it happens to be somewhere in our area. But if we have vendors coming from across the state and there's training north or south or wherever it may be. So,
Well, are those training opportunities communicated with the vendors on a regular basis?
I send an email out each week and I try to throw things in there as I hear about them. So,
Okay, well, maybe we could be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is,
I don't know if they get read very often, but I try to follow up with handouts as things change.
Board
So,
initiative, what it said, what it said.
oh, I'm going to have to think about that. But basically support and do whatever we can to support and encourage food vendors through training and educational opportunities.
You-
Yeah.
What-
If I might
Mhm.
add to that, perhaps maybe we start a dedicated calendar to training events or workshops or something like that. Then it's a little bit more specific to making those actionable. Just a thought. I'm full of ideas.
I think one day it'd be great if the market had its own website, separate from the city. Obviously, there'd be a link on the city website, and you'd click on the. Let me give you an example. IT's probably listening, like, Natalie, no. But I mean, we're on the homepage. We're right there. But you'd click on that, and it would come up with something
Yeah.
that's easier to navigate than what we have now. And there would be a calendar on there, maybe a calendar for vendors only section where you could see the Land Connection has a grains workshop, or the Illinois Farmers Market Association has a marketing workshop, or the Illinois Farm Bureau has something happening for gleaning, or I don't know, all sorts of opportunities. I also am full of ideas, but I'd totally be up for putting together some kind of calendar and being more intentional about sharing it.
But that should be an initiative then.
Yes. So you worded that very well. Diane, can you share with me again what you said?
Oh, we need a playback. Support and encourage current vendors and new vendors through providing education and training opportunities, but that's not as good as it
Do
was
a
before.
web-based calendar.
I don't even know if we have to be that specific,
Yeah.
but that could be a component of that. Support and encourage current and new vendors through education and training opportunities.
Education and training opportunities.
We're on a roll, guys. All right.
And it could even be a place, connect people who need land with people who have land. I mean, it could be a place where, an opportunity, a place for opportunities to be posted. And we also talked about rebranding the market back to being a farmer's market. Everyone calls it the farmer's market anyway, so I don't know. That went nowhere? Okay, well.
I know there, in the beginning of this discussion, I know John Chernus from Blue Moon visited us a couple of times, and he threw out the idea of changing the name from Urbana's Market at the Square to the Urbana Farmers Market. I know all of our branding and everything says Market at the Square, and we say Market at the Square, but on social media, that's too long, so our handles are Urbana Market for everything.
Okay, well.
So,
I don't know if the name is as important as what you get done.
Right.
If it's, if you don't follow through and make it happen, it doesn't matter what you call it. What, on 5 there, is there anything, can you scroll to 5? Is there anything?
of course, we don't have anything there yet. Consider future growth of the market and ensure that it remains consistent with the market's mission and remains a financially self-sufficient program of the city of Urbana.
Because that's something I'd like to think about as a future growth, what people's thoughts are, and, because I know mine's probably different than most, but I understand that you're working with the city of Urbana, so.
Well, I think that conducting surveys of vendors, we could require that staff do an end of season survey to get feedback from vendors. We could, I know we did a big survey to start this. That's the biggest one we had done since the focus groups that were conducted, like 6 years ago when the first strategic plan came about. That way we can get feedback from customers. That's very important. Being financially self-sufficient, I think that's some wording that I threw in there, which was a big step for us this season. The market has a budget of its own within the city's entire budget for the first time. We used to be part of the Economic Development Fund, and now it's very easy to find our line items and report things, and that's just one step forward. I know the fee increase for some wasn't very popular, and for others I received no feedback. Others I received a lot of feedback, but that was one step forward in working towards the market moving into more self-sufficient, becoming more self-sufficient. That will not increase for next year, by the way.
But
I'm not going to do that again.
that also ties in, the more vendors you got, the more money you got.
We didn't break records for vendors this year.
I know, but
We-
we're considering future growth.
Right.
So, and that's, I tie that back to the profitability of the vendor, of the vendors. Because, you want more, you per se want more vendors, but you got too many of something, that's where we look at that. But I'm just curious what folks think of what future growth, how they see the market.
I don't think it's physical growth. We're not going to get larger. The parking lot isn't going to get bigger. So I don't think it's physical growth that way. But growth can mean a lot of things. It could mean more outreach. It could be more education. I know that's initiative number 3, promote the market as an educational forum for consumers to learn the uses and benefits of quality, locally grown and prepared foods. Growth could mean more partnerships with the Urbana Business Association for indoor and outdoor farmers markets. Shay really wants to say something.
I just want to ask what the end goal of outreach would be. Is that to draw more people to the market? Is that to like touch base with kids in schools, or what that goal of an outreach would be?
Right now, it's all the things. Any opportunity I get to set up a table, to visit a preschool class, to teach 8th graders how to cook squash, like any opportunity that we have an invitation to or that I hear about in the community, if we can afford it, I'm there. I mean, I keep the recipe cards in my purse. I hustle the market. And I think people definitely like to invite the market because people enjoy going. I mean, at the Hobbyco Health Fair was one example. That's outreach. That's talking to consumers. They sign up for our email that we send out each week, the Market Mail, that lists what's in season and who's going to be there and what programming we have happening. But I mean, if you have suggestions or ways that you want us to move in a certain direction for outreach or education, let's list those as initiatives. If there's things that you think the market is not doing that we should work towards, we'll look into that. There's all sorts of grant opportunities and partnership opportunities, but I have been very hesitant to apply for grants because I don't have the staff capacity to write them and carry out and report more than we do for our SNAP program. That's our limit right now.
I'm talking about number 5. I just wondered because I think at least for outreach to draw people to the market up until about August, where are we going to put cars? I would love to see more growth in September and October. It's
Everybody does.
such a hit. Yeah, for all of us, it's such a hit.
It's not just here. I learned that when I visited the other markets.
Well,
The September slump
yeah.
is a real thing
Yeah,
everywhere else also.
yeah. So I don't know if we could get feedback from the community on why I of course have my own ideas of why that's happening, but I'd love to hear from the community members as to why it's a struggle to get to the market on Saturdays.
What to do about it, though?
Well, if we knew what the reason was for sure, then we could at least work towards a better plan. I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be
Soccer games on Saturday, school activities.
yeah. It's in that
Football
But
games.
see,
Right.
school comes back here in Urbana. 'Cause in our
No, I'm
other
thinking
one-
of people with families and little kids. They're back in school. All the Park District games are on Saturday. I mean, just thinking back to my own schedule years ago. So, and now it's not. Huh.
I think that's why we tried the September Eat Local Challenge with the other markets. That was kind of trying to join forces and round up whatever resources, whether it be people or time, to make that push. And there was a survey associated with signing up, and then there's a survey associated with closing out that program. And so once I hear back from Buy Fresh, Buy Local or the Illinois Stewardship Alliance that kind of rounded us all up, I'll be sure to share that with you, because some of the questions are, what are barriers to shopping and things like that during this time.
So
It was-
September, October is the slump we're seeing now. Is that right?
big time.
Okay.
So did the other markets have any insights on that?
All the same things you're saying.
But in general, and we've talked about this also, that market patrons are dropping.
Well,
I mean, consistent.
and I that's some feedback that I heard from the other places too, is there's the availability to shop similar products in other locations on other days.
Or just folks with both of them working, don't have time to come to the market on Saturday, and they just go to a one-stop shop, they get all their needs. I mean, I think buying trends are just changing.
Right. I don't.
So,
It, trends changing in the marketplace. Yep.
so would we do it as a market?
I know when those types of things happen in a grocery store, they mix things up, they reorganize, they change the format and the layout of the grocery store to keep. I mean, they do a lot of research into that. There's people that are just about organizing aisles in the grocery store, but I mean, keeping things fresh, no pun intended, might be an opportunity for us moving into 2017. And I very much understand, and trust me, I receive more feedback than you'll ever imagine about placement of vendors at the farmers market. But perhaps looking into 2017 as a way to move with trends, reorganizing, just throwing it out there. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do it.
I think it's good, I mean, this might be-
And I know the guy sitting to the left of me would do a little dance if he was able to move the food trucks to another area because of traffic flow, for one example. I'm just throwing out ideas and things that I've heard from other markets. I know Green City did some reorganizing as a way to make their drop-in vendors, which are the folks that aren't there the whole entire season, go to a certain area. So if they weren't there, it didn't look like there's giant gaps within their market. And you all know we have giant gaps come September and October.
I mean, you do nothing, what's the definition of insanity? Do nothing, you get the same results. So I'm open to try to do something different, because, you know, you've been, not you in particular, but the market's been doing the same thing for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's time to maybe look at that consumer that maybe don't have the time, or lure them in, but I don't know how, you know?
And before I move on to the next one, so is there an initiative that we've?
Find a way to lure in,
Attract, not lure. Attract, not lure.
We set Pokemon lures, actual Pokemon lures, but I know.
but to attracts the customer that's needs it quick and easy or whatever. I mean, you know, that consumer that maybe don't have the time.
Well, I was just gonna, Natalie, I
Yes.
don't know if you ever had a conversation with the contact from Order Up.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. So, I had spoke with my contact with Order Up, and she had,
You should explain what Order Up is.
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. It's a delivery service. So if a restaurant doesn't offer delivery service, they can contract with this company and they'll make deliveries for them. So she had been interested in speaking with myself and Natalie regarding sending people out, because they could do their orders online and then they would come pick up the product and then deliver it to the consumer that can't make it out to the market because there could be games or they may be doing different things. So maybe we contract with that company so the people that can't get there can still purchase the product that
There'd
day.
have to be a fee for the vendor, probably help subsidize that cost. But if a particular vendor didn't want to do it, he didn't want to do it. But if I want to
Right.
spend my sales, I'm like, you know, if I get to go, my product list gets to go on this wherever
Mhm.
we're talking about, you know, maybe somebody order from me, it'd be worth it to me.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
I just think
well,
about the times that I'm not able to make it.
The Harvest Market, they've got, it says delivery right there on there, they're gonna start doing delivery. People want that, so I think that's a great
Mhm.
idea. We get that people that would love to have that stuff, but they ain't got time.
Right.
You know, you got soccer games, you got all this shit you're talking about, you know?
Is your microphone on, Stan?
No.
You
On
should.
purpose.
Oh no, you need to turn your microphone on. Well, I think that
That would just
It
be a
has its-
new way to get the product out there, and if there's decreasing sales, that could help, you know, maybe in that September, October time period.
Right, exactly. How do you
So.
put that in an initiative then? How do you work it?
But then that takes bodies away from the market.
That's that would be the other part of it.
And
So
our
do you
goal
want
is to
people
bolster that. And Shay really wants to say something.
Sorry, I mean, so we kind of did something on our farm and a couple other farms this summer, and I did it all, the website, and it is a lot harder than for vegetable vendors. It would be a lot harder than you would even imagine. I think for that to work, and I don't know how it might benefit somebody like Kent. I'm not sure that would be something that would fit, but probably easy for meat vendors. Oh, I don't know. It's that's a hard thing.
Delivery service.
So we have about 10 minutes because we try to keep our meetings to an hour for those that travel. This has been great discussion. I'd like to continue it. I don't want to rush you all on putting this together because at least we have 7 priorities that I think all feel good about because you agreed to them all. And so that's great.
Did you do anything today?
Yeah, I wrote 2 things down.
Should be 3.
I think these also feeds into this is some great feedback, and I think we're all considering the 2016 season and looking forward to the 2017 season. Applications do go out February 1st, so in some instances there's some sense of urgency, and some other things, some bigger picture things. These are things that we're going to be working on for the lifespan of the market. I encourage you to chat with your fellow vendors and to fill some of these things in. I will send an updated version of this now that we have a few more things filled in.
Can't you got email to everybody?
Yeah.
Can't you say this to them? Because we look like we're hounds going out, trying to get, can't you say we would love you to get this feedback? I don't want to call it a survey, but just explain what you want here and have them send it back into you. 'Cause I
It
don't
would
have
mean
time-
so much more coming from you, though,
I
Stan.
don't have time to read my market, I just don't.
I understand that. But I know you guys chat.
You just can't, the one person I talk to. I just can't get away.
I understand.
Like to go to Prairie Fruits, but I'm there just a little bit, and I gotta get back. I just
Right.
can't leave. That's a good thing, we're busy.
But I think that the feedback that you'd get from your peers would be a lot more honest and to the point
But I
and
think
blunt
I'm
than
not
if I were to
getting
go
done,
source it.
getting it done. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is I'm not getting it done.
Yeah.
We got 2 markets left for me. It ain't gonna be done, Natalie. I need some ideas to work with.
Have we ever done a survey for the customers in why they don't come September, October, why the slump, what their reasons maybe are?
Not specific to those months.
Okay.
We've asked in surveys previously what are barriers to shopping the farmer's market.
Okay. I was just wondering if something like addressing those 2 months could be sent out in May when we start, in June, on why they, then they can maybe give reasons why in September and October they're not coming.
Or we could send it out now, so it's
Well-
fresh on their mind. Like, oh, I can't be there because I got.
Yeah, if it's,
We gotta
Well, that's-
start though, because if you don't do it during the heat of the battle, they're gonna, wow, officer, what are you talking about?
I think we can turn this into an initiative and put it in one of these. I've conducted surveys, just a couple really good ones through Survey Monkey and paper ones, and I've done some just on the fly through social media. But this last push to put information together for this that we presented earlier this year, that was more detailed and took a lot of time to prepare the survey instrument and things like that. So if I love getting feedback and data, and if we want to make that an initiative, I'm for that.
Have we evaluated the impact of all the other choices that have cropped up over the years, like the food co-op, the harvest market, the market on Tuesdays in Champaign? I mean, there's just a lot more opportunities to purchase this same sort of food other places that weren't there 15 years ago. So it's huge. So
A different kind of market study. That'd be
They
like,
go in, I just
Yeah.
have the folks today that come out to my farm, they're gonna kick our ass. telling you right now.
Who's the Harvest Market? Yeah, I visited there. And there's CSAs. They didn't used to be.
But they got their mindset. The CEO was out there and he's telling me what they're gonna do, and I'm telling you, they're gonna do it.
Is he buying from you?
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean,
So you're selling to.
well,
They're
Yeah,
buying from a lot of people at
I
market.
know.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen at least 3 products from 3 people sitting up there.
but they go in there, people, the consumer can go in there and get everything but their oil changed, you know, pretty much. You get service, you walk in there, can I help you?
But
I
it's
know.
not the same as the farmer's market. They don't see you. They might see a picture of you. They might see Blue Moon's name next to the potatoes or Kent's Lovely
But then
Well,
I
the
think
mar-
maybe that's
yeah.
the marketing we
They
need to
don't-
do.
They don't care as much, Natalie, no more. The folks that we used to take care of out there, they're leaving and doing other things or dying off, you know.
But the market at the square is the experience and the social part of it, and that's what we have to, still be emphasizing.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think maybe that's where our focus on marketing should be then. Like you said, the relationships and the experience of attending the market versus walking into a grocery store. You get that one-on-one connection with the owners and the
So I've got
farmers.
2 initiatives for 2 different priorities.
Which ones?
Consider future growth of the market and ensure it remains consistent with the market's mission. This one could be survey customers and vendors, conduct market research on
September, October, summer.
not just for that, but market research, understanding where else people can buy things, shopping habits, more things that like a grocery store would be doing, things that you would go to the EDC for example, the Economic Development Corporation, the Champaign County Economic Development Corporation, working with the economic development staff at the city that understands those trends and market studies. I think that we are a big enough market to where we are a competitor to some of these other places. So putting that as an initiative, I don't know what that looks like at the moment, but having it on there is something to consider.
Write it down before you forget it.
Okay.
Because if we don't
I got one
have
for this
it,
one, too.
we don't- we
Number
just
2 would be the
Yeah, market research survey. The other key priority, enhance the quality of life in Urbana and the surrounding community by providing community activities which foster social gathering and interactions. I think,
like a marketing campaign to promote that.
well, we do a lot of marketing,
outside the box.
but I think that, I see the word community, social gathering, fostering interactions. I think that we've had a lot of discussion here, and I think that we can pull in an initiative out of what we've talked about. I mean, the market is the alternative to the grocery store. That's your relationship with your farmer. That's meeting your neighbor. That's conducting business. That's you all partnering with each other for a farm dinner or a potential collaboration like CU Farmers. What is that in a sentence? I'm seeing interactions with the community, social gathering. I mean, the market is a institution in Urbana. It's people leave and they still remember it. We have thousands of followers on social media that love and like our pictures and our photos, that comment that I've moved, but it's not the same at my market here as it was in Urbana. How can we foster that?
Well, that's marketing the experience. That it is. It's not the same as walking into a store or opening a box. It's the whole package, and that's what we need to really emphasize. Well, we'll figure that out, but
I'm going to put the word experience down.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the experience of
Marketing
it.
experience, put that down.
Promoting the experience, and I think you do a very good job with community activities with the sprouts at the market and art at the market and the chefs. I mean, all that stuff is the community.
And I really want to
outreach.
build that up next year. If that's one
Yeah.
thing I can selfishly add into the mix is more sampling, more cooking demos, more opportunities to sample your products. And this was we put our foot in the water with that this year with the changes in regulations from the Department of Public Health, and we've started to build out a kitchen, and whether that means you as a vendor coming up and doing it or hiring a chef to come pick some stuff up and do it right there, it's a lot of work.
Well, that's a,
Ju-
go
To
ahead.
jump in, both U of I and Parkland have hospitality training, so there are students that are, learning knife skills and learning cooking skills and learning stuff like that. It might be interesting to consider working with them as a collaboration to do some of the chef demos.
Because along that lines, because I was gonna work with Drew at Bocaro, but he's like me, we gotta make a living. Anytime I gotta do anything extra, that
Right.
means I gotta hire employees.
Right.
Which costs me money, but if you could find somebody to subsidize this thing, some people it's legal, and to do that sort of thing, so say they're doing some triple S products or something, or doing that, and all I gotta do is sit there and smile and say, yeah, that's pretty good. That's fine, but if I gotta actually put people on it, then that costs me money, then I gotta look at the cost benefit ratio, and usually they don't pay out. 'Cause
Right.
we're bare bones right now, and I can't afford it.
And I think that sampling is an experience. It's different
I
than.
think it's bring people in.
I think some people come for the free food and others come and they're like, I really like that, I'm going to go buy it. And we had a chef unable to participate one month, and so I was your chef at the market that month. And I went around and I bought stuff and I sampled it out, and Grandma Cookie, Barnyard Calico, she makes the jellies in row 4 on the south end. I sampled out some of her jam on top of Picara bread. She said she got 6 people come straight over and buy 2 jars apiece just from sampling it. And then Alto Vineyard, that was on the other side of me, contracted with her for a wholesale account, and now they're featuring her jam in Alto Vineyard's tasting room. So that's, I think, a great opportunity for us to enhance the experience, and that provides
But you look for partners to subsidize.
Enhance the
Yeah.
experience.
That would be your initiative. Search for partners, collaborate for an enhanced experience.
But we have a kitchen now. We have stainless steel prep table. We have a hand washing station. We have 3 sink system.
In a tent? Or
Part of it's in my cubicle right now. Part of it's in our trailer. Part of it's in a storage
gets
unit.
set up at the market?
But it's something that we can set up at the market. Yep. We're going to test it out on the 29th at our chili cook-off.
It's a portable kitchen.
We're going to have 3 portable kitchens.
So how did that read?
Enhance the experience of living.
Yeah, and develop partnerships within the market. So, the jam and the bread, that's an example.
Right, but outside the market too, because like I said,
Number 3.
manpower is huge. I know, Shay, you got time to do that? No, you didn't.
You literally need a person to only sample. They can't make sales. Their hands have to be
Right.
clean. You have to have a person to do it. And that person has to jump through 10 different hoops before they can even
Correct.
do it legally. And I don't want people sampling if they're not supposed to be sampling, because then
They have to
they'll
be
get in trouble.
certified samplers?
Yes, it's a certificate with the state.
I get it, but I ain't found anybody who wants to work for me for free. So I'm back to the dollar expense.
And
If you had somebody in Parkland or somebody that wanted to be chef,
Yeah.
wants to come out and get his name known, hey.
I had 2 people from Provena come and do that for us this year. Actually, it was 2 dietetics interns at Provena. They needed extra hours working directly with the customer, so they reached out to me. They already had their manager, food service sanitation manager certificate, and so in order to get the farmers market sampling certificate, it was only $10. And I said, you know what? I've got your $10. I submitted their paperwork in, and the both of them got their certificate, and they came out 2 or 3 times. To me, that was worth $10.
The lady that works for me's got a sanitation license. We
Yep.
ain't got time. I mean,
For $10, she can sample.
Yeah, but I think you're selling meat.
Yes, I understand. So that was experience. 505, guys.
Okay. Did you put on her networking with partners to make whatever?
I don't know if that's 2. I think that might be
Well,
4?
we're trying to enhance the market, Natalie, bringing training, more sampling.
Enhance the market's role in the local food system and vendor profitability, or enhance the quality of life in Urbana and the surrounding community.
I thought we was looking at
You could even put under number 6 if you want.
I'm going to put sampling and cooking demos under number 3. Promote the market as an educational forum for consumers to learn the uses and benefits of quality, locally grown and prepared foods. I feel like sampling and cooking demonstrations fits well under that one.
Sounds good.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Would you put on our networking with other folks? Because I'll forget this soon as I read the room.
I understand. Could it be
Yeah,
under
we're enhancing the
6?
experience through partnerships, inter-vendor, with partnerships among vendors.
But to make it a better experience for the market, so folks want it, and free food is always there. Now, the food trucks are gonna I'm gonna set up and make a pizza, Dave.
We actually did one of the cooking demonstrations, Stan. I'll
No, I know.
tell you how that went. We didn't do it so much as a demonstration as we ran it as a small class, and we got people to interact and make pizzas. We got great feedback from it, and actually we had one of our better days of sales because people would make a pizza and then also go buy one. So I think that was a way to really highlight to a lot of market customers that we were there. So I would be happy to participate at that level, at that role again. And
That was
for
a
us, I think it was very successful.
successful event on a shoestring budget. Yours truly schlepped her grill out of her backyard at 4:30 in the morning with her husband, shimmied it up into his trunk, bungeed it over here. Your brother helped me get it off of there. I stood around the market for about an hour for it to cool down so we could load it back up into my truck. So, like, guys,
Now you got stainless steel.
I promise I'm going to hustle for you. But I appreciate your advice and your suggestions so that we can move forward. 'Cause,
Because like I said earlier, if you do nothing, nothing's gonna happen.
yeah.
Well, and I do think we don't want gaps in the market. I mean, you don't want, and you don't want giant holes, so we can reorganize.
Well, you're gonna get a bee's nest on that. You don't know what you're saying.
I threw it out there.
I'm just saying what's gonna happen.
I threw it out there.
It's true.
I started it. I started the
No,
conversation.
no, but she's saying, like, well, it's gonna work.
Well, and I agree with her because we've been typically over on that east end.
That front row ain't gonna move.
I could tell. When
Well,
the
that's filled up
was in the
though, isn't
market.
it?
Yeah.
It's a
It's
long
the
view.
it's the rows farther east where you see the big holes now, right?
Maybe we can finish that discussion in the
Yeah.
postseason wrap up to prepare for 2017.
Well, do you offer people the opportunity to move in the middle of the season?
Yeah. If people want to move and there's a space to move them, if someone says 203 is open today and you have me in 67, can I move to 203? Well,
But there's.
Sure.
There's the whole case to be made, that- and this, sure, you move one space over, people don't find it. I don't know why it is, but they'll say, where you at? Oh, there's Ord over there. So there is that,
Yep.
is that out there.
we've tried with that interactive map, and we promote it and we publicize it. The vendors use it more than the customers, to be honest.
I'm
And
just
then-
saying, you start back down the road, there's some of the, I don't care, I think it's a good idea, don't, trust me, I think it's a great idea, because you'll mix it up. A lot of stores do that to make you buy more, because you gotta look for other stuff.
Uh-huh.
You get exposed to more products because you go, oh, I never knew they had this.
Yes.
I walked down aisle 3 every time. I never knew they had this.
But you got Joe Smow's been in this spot for 20 years, he ain't.
Well, then he doesn't have to, but maybe Sally, somebody else wants to move, and there's an open space, and they give it a try, and you fill in some of those holes just to make it look like less
Good idea.
gaps. I'm not saying force.
I think
people
it's a
to
good
move,
idea, but I'm not
give 'em
moving.
the opportunity.
I can't, I'm too
not killing trees. Nobody's killing any trees. We're a tree city.
We don't kill trees in Urbana.
True story.
Okay, I think that it's time to wrap up.
Yep, we're 5:10.
Okay, any announcements?
I'm gonna send you an email and ask you your calendar and schedule a post-season wrap-up. That's my announcement.
Okay.
I'm just going to congratulate Natalie for her award, the 40 under 40.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Natalie got awarded for being one of the 40 people under 40 years old.
Doing
From-
good things in business.
By
Yeah.
the Central Illinois Business Magazine. It's an annual award to
Thank you.
She's kind of a big deal around here, is all it means.
Now everyone knows how old I am.
We should have 60 over 60.
All right, thank you all, and please send your friends with their initiatives. I want to hear it.